What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including a WWE planning an epic WrestleMania match, WWE's AI disaster, WWE spoils the Rumble, why this tag team is off WWE television, a WWE wrestler forced to break character, has a former champion really left WWE, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now let's do the intro and get straight into our first story. Now, first story looks at WWE planning an epic WrestleMania match. Now, our top story today looks ahead to WrestleMania 42 and how WWE could potentially be planning a huge dream match for the show. Last week, it was widely reported that WWE had penciled in the top of the card, and there's now speculation that one of the top matches on the show could be Brock Lesnar vs. Gunther. The speculation has now been furthered thanks to the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, as a specific section in the edition reads, "I could see Lesnar vs. Gunther at WrestleMania since there were plans for that match 2 different times at Mania, and didn't happen either time. The first time it was scheduled, plans changed months out, and it was funny that when it started getting reported that was the match, and we've seen proof that it was with planned main events on the show and it being listed months out, but by the time that was written, they had already changed direction. It's also been reported that Lesnar will be returning at the Royal Rumble, so it's possible that a confrontation between Lesnar and the ring general goes down there. This likely means that a babyface turn for Lesnar is on the horizon. That's unless WWE wants to commit to a heel versus heel rivalry. Lesnar is a name that WWE could easily revert to a babyface overnight, and the idea of turning Gunther babyface, especially after retiring John Cena, would be a difficult task to say the very least. This also leaves the AJ Styles matchup in the air. The AJ and Gunther feud still has a lot of legs, and it's been widely rumored that AJ could be retiring at WrestleMania this year. It would be strange if AJ retires before WrestleMania, but the AJ and Gunther story needs some type of payoff. There have been a lot of pushes from fans to see the AJ and Gunther rivalry last all the way up until WrestleMania, and then have Gunther vs. Lesnar at SummerSlam, but it's hard to grasp WWE's creative plans when it comes to the biggest show of the year. Next up, WWE's AI disaster. The WWE using AI has become an urban legend of sorts over the past year. But now, there's no denying that the company has used AI for a recent AAA video package. The video package in question focuses on Dominic Mysterio, and in the video, Mysterio is seen wearing not the AAA Mega title, but the AEW World title. That's right, the World title from the rival promotion. This is an insane error, and the worst thing is that WWE has been reposting the video package, so they clearly have no idea what has occurred. WWE are quite rightly being called out for this, as it makes the company look incredibly incompetent, and it's only a matter of time before AEW pokes fun at WWE for this horrendous AI slip-up. Next up, WWE spoils the Royal Rumble. Now, the Royal Rumble is just under 2 weeks away. Saudi Arabia is getting set for the event by placing marketing material around the new stadium. The new graphics feature a plethora of names from Raw and SmackDown and a ton of names from NXT such as Ethan Page and Thea Hale, which likely confirms that these names will be in the Rumble matches in some capacity. One of the biggest names to feature on the poster is Oba Femi, and it appears that Femi will officially make his main roster debut in the Rumble match itself. There's also been speculation that Karrion Kross is featured on the poster, but that image that everyone is assuming is Kross is actually Intercontinental Champion Dominic Mysterio. But seriously, when you look about the 4th row down and the person on the end, who does that look like to you? It kind of looks like Jeff Hardy, but does it also kind of look like Chris Jericho? Obviously, it's unlikely that WWE would spoil Jericho's entrance in the Royal Rumble this way, but still, Saudi have done this. Some others on the poster could be seen as is that Jada Parker, is that Tatum Paxley in the 2nd row, and the only one that's actually sending me is Tonga Loa. I mean, what the hell? Next up, the truth behind the WWE absence. Last week it was reported that WWE had taken the Street Profits off television to freshen them up. And now in a further update provided by Fightful Select's Q&A series, it's been confirmed that the talented stars are resting at home. They haven't even been backstage at television. Angelo Dawkins has been training at the Dungeon 2.0. They haven't been backstage at SmackDown in a while and weren't brought on the European tour. I love seeing them compete, but also this is probably the longest stretch Montez Ford and Bianca Belair have ever had at home, so it's hard for me to be mad at that. Both Ford and Dawkins are incredibly talented wrestlers in their own right, and it's baffling that WWE has no idea what to do with them. It feels like the duo have been given an overhaul in presentation time and time again over the years, and every time they get over with the crowd, they mysteriously disappear from television with no explanation or context. There have been rumors that AEW could be making a play for the duo when their contracts are up, and this could be a smart move for both sides, as both Ford and Dawkins still have a lot to give the pro wrestling business. Next up, WWE wrestler forced to break character. There was a major incident at the recent AAA show. During the match between El Grande Americano and Vikingo, Americano was forced to tell the referee that Vikingo was targeting his neck and that he was legitimately hurting him. Americano did this in his real voice, and it appears to be a real moment of panic and anger, as Americano evidently felt like he was being targeted. The clip is going viral on social media right now, and it's alarming, as the moment Americano points out to the referee, Vikingo immediately kicks the talented star in the neck once again. Now, this type of behavior isn't okay, and fans are right to call it out. It's unknown if there's any prior bad blood between the two wrestlers, but even if there is zero excuses to legitimately shoot on your opponent in this manner. It's unclear if WWE will take any serious action against the AAA star, but if he's deliberately hurting wrestlers, then there's an obvious issue that needs to be addressed. Next up, TNA to overtake AEW. Eric Bischoff is the undisputed king of bold pro wrestling takes, and on the latest edition of his podcast, the former WCW president has declared that TNA may overtake AEW. Specifically, Bischoff believes that TNA may overtake AEW when it comes to television viewership.
Let me qualify my statement about TNA being able to be number 2. I'm talking about from a television viewership perspective, not so much from a revenue perspective. But I think from a television viewership position, look, Tony, AEW is doing maybe 500,000 viewers. They're going to be down to 400,000 by spring once NBA starts taking off and it starts heating up during the playoffs. It gets tougher anyway, and they're losing 20% of their audience on average, and they have been for a long time, and nothing's going to change.
TNA still has a long way to go, and the reception to their debut show on AMC was less than positive. The cage match score for the show still sits at 1.49, making it one of the lowest rated wrestling shows of all time. Yikes indeed. Next up, the Rumble stage is gonna be huge. Now, the 2026 Royal Rumble is only just less than 2 weeks away. And ongoing construction at the event Saudi Arabia Stadium is actually drawing a lot of attention, as the stadium pictures online show that the stadium isn't completed at all. However, there are now new photos shared online showing the venue rising quickly in the King Abdullah financial district of Riyadh, as crews are now working to complete the site before the January 31st PLE. This build is noteworthy because WWE is actually constructing an entirely new stadium from scratch specifically for this Royal Rumble, something that's never been done before. As video and images courtesy of Mohammed Mansour on Twitter, who also follows the channel, so thank you very much, and work is already in place, including install lighting towers, other infrastructure, and most notably, a very large entrance arena, which is a great change from the previous Royal Rumbles, which have had pretty much dugout-like entrances. Construction is definitely reportedly moving fast, with just weeks to go, and the overall scale of the build has impressed fans online. I mean, it's crazy that before tickets went on sale, construction on the stadium hadn't even started. Next up, a former wrestler believes that Vince McMahon is still in creative. A former WWE and ECW star, Shane Douglas, recently expressed skepticism about claims that WWE has fully moved on from Vince McMahon's creative influence following his exit from day-to-day control. Despite McMahon no longer being the public face of WWE's creative process, Shane Douglas argues that his legacy still impacts the product because of many of the company's current leaders, especially as Triple H and Stephanie McMahon were mentored by him. Douglas spoke on his official YouTube channel saying, "The problem I think is that even though Vince is supposedly gone, who did Hunter learn from? Vince. Who did Stephanie learn from? Vince. So them still being involved in it, they're probably going to keep getting Vince." He also mentioned how Hunter is still in contact with Vince McMahon and probably still learning from him. It wouldn't surprise you in the least if, in fact, it would be my expectation that Hunter's probably talking to him quite a lot. That's not to say Hunter's not creating his own ideas or putting his own stamp on it. If you learn from Dominic DeNucci, you're probably going to deliver like Dominic DeNucci, right? If you learn from Shane Douglas and do a promo, you're probably going to sound like Shane Douglas doing a promo. Now, while WWE publicly insists that it has turned a corner creatively under new leadership, his perspective highlights a belief among some wrestling personalities that Vince McMahon's shadow still looms over the company's creative output, probably more spiritually than in the form of an authority figure that is present backstage. And finally, has a former champion really left WWE? Our final story today looks at the WWE status of Tommaso Ciampa, as WWE have yet to confirm whether Ciampa has left the company. Despite numerous reports that the former NXT champion is leaving WWE, there has been some confusion, as Ciampa continues to be used on the marketing materials, specifically when it comes to the SmackDown promotional campaigns. However, according to Fightful Select's Q&A series, Ciampa is indeed leaving the company, and Johnny Gargano is now a singles act. The people that I spoke to wanted to respect his privacy as it related to the specifics, but what BodySlam.net reported is right on track with what I heard when following up on the report. He's not been backstage at SmackDown of late, and Johnny Gargano is effectively a singles competitor right now. Now, it's bizarre that there's been no on-screen explanation for Ciampa's disappearance from TV, but it's entirely possible that WWE are just hoping that fans forget about the DIY tag team and now concentrate on Gargano as a solo wrestler. But there you have it, folks, our look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.